I'm decoding the rituals involved in Ukraine, and I think they connect to Kazakhstan, which is a country in Central Asia. I mirrored the Ukrainian trident symbol and I got this. It looks like 33, which I've connected to red mercury and portals. Astana is the capital of Kazakhstan. Stana means place, but Astana means a not place. The hourglass shape here is also on the right, and the 33 here as well. On an Assyrian seal, we see the two liberations of the waters and of the sun, closely associated as if in one event. The rising of the sun, supported by the star goddess Ishtar, coincides with the joining of the waters from above with the waters from below, which means toroidal fields and portals. It's the hourglass in the middle and the 33 shape on their wings. The seal reminds me of the sigil of Ashtaroth and the 33 portal again. I mirrored the trident the opposite way. If I take those two on the side and extend them out, it looks similar to the Kazakhstan Armed Forces logo. I searched in Google. Look at the bottom right. Google thinks it's looking at a mosquito. Reverse the trident and open the sides. It reminds me of the Persian farvahar. And again, to the mosquito. The markings on its body is like the Ukraine trident. I don't know if genetically modified mozzies is a fact, but I find the yellow-blue colors interesting. This is a well-known Persian symbol here. After Nadimi listened to the speech by Ayatollah Khomeini, he started sketching the emblem with three main concepts in mind. He designed it to have both Iranian and Islamic characteristics, with the Allah meant to resemble a tulip and a lotus flower, symbols in ancient Persia. Tulip, gender, feminine, planet, Venus. The tulip is worn to safeguard against poverty. Tulip means turban, and the flower is often worn in the turban in Middle Eastern countries for protection. I'm comparing the tulip to the Ukrainian seal. They mirrored a crescent and made it a diamond shape in the center, same as the one here. The Persian lotus reminds me of another symbol. You have something in the center crossed by two objects. Armed Forces logo, emblem of the Ethiopian National Defense Force. We have a circle with wings on both, an anchor behind, and two weapons crossed over. Comparing the seal of Lilith, 3 and 6, the trident or anchor in the center, and two things crossing. Lilith is the dark side of Ishtar, and she goes by many names, including Mary. Mary, star of the sea. She's on water with a star halo. Where have we seen that? That's why they do it. Meet Rome's Queen of Heaven. The history of the Rose Cross is an unusual one. It has been linked with the equilateral Red Cross of the Knights Templar. The appearance of the Rose Cross in Christian art and poetry is often taken as a secret communication of heresy, the worship of the goddess Venus, or even secret tantric sex practices, particularly in connection with the medieval troubadours. For example, a Catholic rosary spread flat reveals a symbol of the planet Venus, a circle surmounting a cross. If one draws a line connecting the 5 beads of the mysteries, that is, the 5 large beads in the circle, a pentagram is formed, the Rose of Venus. The pentagram is a symbol of the planet Venus, as it is the shape it forms on its travels through the heavens. The name rosary means garland of roses, and early rose cross imagery mimicked the shape of the rosary. We're looking at Kharkiv in Ukraine. Do you see the flower mandala on the pavement? I think it's a yantra, and this one is called Rahu yantra. Rahu is one of the 9 major celestial bodies in Hindu texts. Unlike most of the others, Rahu is a shadow entity, one that causes eclipses and is the king of meteors. Rahu is the north lunar node, and along it with Ketu is a shadow planet that causes eclipses. Rahu is usually paired with Ketu, which is also considered to be a shadow planet. The time of day considered to be under the influence of Rahu is called Rahu Kala and is considered inauspicious. As per Hindu astrology, Rahu and Ketu have an orbital cycle of 18 years and are always 180 degrees from each other orbitally. The malefic and side effects of Rahu can be removed with the help of Rahu Yantra. Rahu Yantra is to please the planet Rahu. When Rahu is malefic, the use of Rahu Yantra is very beneficial and favorable. The Rahu Yantra gives success in business and victory over enemies. Can you see it? The geometric flower seal, and water is a link to the spiritual world. In Gorky Park they have a Ferris wheel. Astana, Kazakhstan has interesting ground design. The water birds made me think of the Denver airport. Astana has a pyramid shape, the pyramid tents at the airport. The bird tail resembles the lattice structure, and above that looks like blue wings. I see the Ferris wheel shape in the land on the left. The tail seems to have the same pattern on the wheel. Gorky Park is in Kharkiv, Ukraine. The BBC has spoken to mothers from the city of Kharkiv who say they gave birth to healthy babies only to have them taken by maternity staff. In 2003, the authorities agreed to exhume around 30 bodies of the fetuses and full-term babies from a cemetery used by maternity and hospital number 6. In its report, the council describes a general culture of trafficking of children snatched at birth and a wall of silence from hospital staff upwards over their fate. The pictures show organs including brains have been stripped and some bodies dismembered. The image, said to represent the goddess Tanit, is represented by the triangle and upright arms figure standing just above the rectangle in this drawing of a Carthaginian burial marker once set up over cremated remains of children. Above the figure we recognize as Tanit is another version made of a triangle, moon, and dot. Above that composite symbol is something like an orange cut in two. It could be the sun or Venus. Boss, baby, do you see the O is above the A? It's the symbol of Tanit, also known as Ishtar. A senior British forensic pathologist said he's very concerned to see bodies in pieces, and that is not standard post-mortem practice. It could possibly be the result of harvesting stem cells from bone marrow. Hospital number 6 denies. Yes, because 6 connects to Saturn, the 6-point star of Molech or Baal. The monument in Ukraine has a hexagram on the grounds. Tanit is a Carthaginian goddess. She's represented by a geometric symbol representing a circle atop an upward-facing triangle. Her symbol adorns many Carthaginian grave markers. Her consort is Baal Haman, and children were sacrificed to both these gods. Boss baby, blue and yellow. And because Tanit is associated with Baal, who rules time, there's a clock under the Ferris wheel. Tanit is also called Stella Maris. It is said that the Kaaba at Mecca used to contain fragments of black meteoric stone. Sybil too was once represented by a black stone. The moon was once a symbol of the gods responsible for the birth of the sun and Venus for order and time, Nana. The crescent moon symbol placed over the triangle puts these powers for time and measurement under the control of Tanit, making her Stella Maris. In the park, a red, yellow and blue archway. Up there is pink, blue and yellow. This is the pansexual colors. Pan, also known as Cernunnos or Cern Stargate. Cernunnos is called Osiris, god of the underworld. Here's the wheel at nighttime. Compared to Stella Maris, the light, which goes straight to the flower fountain. Kulon Kolovrat, Slavic sun wheel. Kolovrat means spinning wheel in a number of Slavic languages. It's a powerful protective pagan symbol and is a symbol of the god Svarog. The Kolovrat represents the endless cycle of birth and death. Each turn of the wheel is a cycle of life in our own world. The sun shining down on the Ferris wheel, connecting to the Kolovrat. The wheel up close has a shape in the center. Kolovrat is the sun. The wheel is the moon. Again, connecting to Mary or Ishtar. Back to the monument. Do you see that? Similar to the blue and yellow symbol on Kazakhstan's flag and the sun wheel. This confirms the meaning as seen on Ternopil's coat of arms. Triangle at the top, the star, and Mary is standing on a crescent moon. These are all trident symbols and what it evolved to today. Silver coin of Vladimir the Great, Grand Prince of Kiev, Russia, 10 cents. Nergal era, son to Enlil and Ninlil, lord of the underworld. Design of an old Babylonian cylinder seal from Larsa depicting the underworld god Nergal holding his distinctive scimitar and the double lion-headed standard. Seal of Nergal with a foot upon smaller earthling carrying his scimitar, high-tech alien weapon. Nergal's two lion-headed mace symbol weapon. Nergal's scimitar dual lion-headed high-tech weapon symbol. Nergal steel artifact, Lord of the Underworld carrying his alien lion-headed weaponry. Nergal seated in his sky chariot. Yes, all of the sky gods have their own flying machines. Or you might call that a spaceship. Nergal, Erregal, Era, Enkidudu, warrior and underworld god. City of Kutha, underworld. Hunter, god of war and plague. His symbol is a mace often decorated with lion heads. Nergal lives in the underworld with his wife Ereshkigal. He uses forest fires, fever and plague as weapons against humans. Sukkot B'not, Nergal is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as the deity of the city of Kuth, and the men of Babylon made Sukkot B'not, and the men of Kuth made Nergal. After resetting large numbers of Canaan's population and Halah and Gozan on the Habor River, in towns of the Medes, the king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Kutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim and settled them in Canaan. The men from each of these 5 cities made its own gods and set them up in the shrines of the land, mixing it with the worship of Jehovah. The men of Babylon made Sukkot B'not. The men of Kutha made Nergal. The men of Hamath made Ashima. The Avites made Nabis and Tartak. And the Sepharvites, Adramelech and Anamelech. The Bible said that these deities were idols, although the Samaritans were not punished because they worshipped the God of the Israelites as well. Ereshkigal, or Allah II, Lady of the Great Place, Supreme Goddess of the Underworld, sister to Ishtar Inanna. When Inanna Ishtar ventured into the underworld, Ereshkigal forced her to take off a piece of clothing at each of the 7 gates before she reached her. Ereshkigal, Irkalla. In later East Semitic myths, she was said to rule Irkalla alongside her husband Nergal. Enlil and Ninlil. I spoke about Enlil and Ninlil in the video about the Canadian convoy rituals. The myth of Enlil and Ninlil is about Enlil's serial seduction of the goddess Ninlil in various guises, resulting in the conception of the moon god Nana and the underworld deities Nergal, Ninazu, and Enlil. Hades was the god of the dead and ruler of the underworld, which was called Hades after the god. Hades abducted Persephone, who became his queen. Greek god Hades, Mesopotamian god Nergal, the same gods appear in early cultures, well known and well worshipped. Did you notice that the god of the underworld has a trident? Double-headed lion symbol of Nergal. In Carthage, though offerings may have been offered to him originally, he became linked to kingship. The MLK word that becomes mulk, that is so close to the word melkat, becomes a verb. Mulk comes to mean to sacrifice. The Ukrainian trident is Nergal's weapon. The old coin in the center is closer to looking like Nergal's scepter, and then it evolved to the one on the right. So we can read the official story. Dimitri says, the Turks were the first in our neck of the woods to use the trident for symbol, then our rulers adopted it as the sign of the house of Rurik. The Rurikid dynasty started our ancestor state Kievan Rus in the 9th century. At the time, they were pagans. Christianization of Rus happened more than a century later. These are Ukraine's military shoulder patches, Nergal's trident, the wings, seahorse, water symbols, the ship's wheel with wings, all of these nautical symbols because the tribe of Zebulun. Zebulun will dwell at the seashore. He shall be a haven for ships. Aphrodite, red, yellow, and blue dress. Aphrodite was the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. She was also a protectress of sailors. Mother Mary, star of the sea, lead us to our heavenly port. The Ferris wheel makes a straight line to the flower fountain. Can you see the arches? You have to walk through an archway to get to the entrance of the park. That to me looks like the temple of Aphrodite in Greece. In ancient times, they printed her temple on their coins, so it does connect to her because the Ferris wheel, Tanit, can be seen directly through the arch. Why are their buildings fashioned like an arch? Another Easter symbol was the rabbit. The rabbit is known for producing a lot of offspring in a short amount of time and can be thought of as a fertility symbol. These fertility symbols were to celebrate the goddess of fertility Ishtar, Ashtaroth, Isis, Semiramis, the mother of Nimrod, who called herself the Queen of Heaven. This same person is adored by the Catholics as Mary, Queen of Heaven. Now, who was the Queen of Heaven? Many ancient cultures have a goddess who they call the Queen of Heaven. In Babylon, the woman and her son were called Ishtar and Tammuz. In India, they were named Isi and Isvara. The Chinese called her Xingmu, with child. The Scandinavians named the mother and child Free and Balder. The Greeks called them Ceres and Plutus. The Phoenicians named them Ashtaroth and Baal. Babylonians gave the nomenclature Ishtar and Tammuz. Egyptians worshipped the mother and child as Isis and Horus. Notice the trident on the baby's head? This belongs to Neptune, the Roman god. This is only found in pagan circles. You cannot find anything like this being promoted in the Bible. Back to the trident symbol, I removed some of it, and now look. It makes me think of Nergal's hat, his ears and beard. Nergal as bull god, guardian of the gates. Gold represents the sun, and lapis lazuli, the sky. Bull worship is the oldest and most important cult starting with Neolithic societies. Bull is the embodiment of sun-sky gods. The blue and yellow reminded me of Tomorrowland in Israel with the purple eyes. So I find it interesting that they're showing on the moon side that it's all mechanical. The moon is mechanical, the clouds are mechanical. What are they trying to say with that? Nergal is the underworld god, and he's also associated with the bull, which would be Molech. The Queen of Heaven, Ishtar, Sumerian Inanna, the goddess of carnal love, storms, rain and war, also communicated with the underworld. She could descend into the underworld and return back. Cuneiform texts are known in which Ishtar boasts that he can release the dead from the underworld, in essence, resurrect them. Ishtar herself dies in the underworld, her body is hung on a hook, but then resurrects and goes back to her sky. Ishtar is the goddess of the sky and the planet Venus. Venus is the morning and evening star, so the evening would be the darker side, and the darker side of Ishtar is Lilith. Have a look at the second one here, the knife inside of a U. The omega is at the top of the arrows. The omega is used in Mesopotamian iconography to represent the life-giving goddess. It portrays the birthing hut and the goddess of birth, the womb goddess. In Egypt, the icon of the omega becomes the characteristic shape of Hathor's hair. And Hathor was also called Isis. The Egyptian sun god Ra on the solar bark with Hathor, a cosmic sky god portrayed here as a cow. Ninhursag's umbilical cord cutter birth goddess symbol. Enki and Ninhursag performed genetic alterations. There's another fountain in Svobodi Square. It looks like a CERN to me. How to create a witch's garden. Notions and musings for creating witch-themed gardens, moon gardens, elemental gardens, astrological gardens. Is that what I'm looking at here? Is this a witch's garden? Is this whole thing set out from witches? They've got another clock here. Notice the astrological zodiac inside the clock. And just to rub it in my face, the park has an Egypt area. Isis above the arch, red, yellow, and blue. Why is their country full of sacred geometry and ancient gods? I don't know why they connect to Kazakhstan, I'm just reading the signs. Gorky Park has a haunted house. The man in black with a clock represents Saturn. On the left, it looks like plasma. On the right, a reptile eye. There's a ghoul coming out of the wall. And now to deactivate this monkey business. In Chinese myths, the monkey is a trickster, meaning they've got the public hoodwinked. Sun Wukong is the Chinese trickster god known as the Monkey King. In Chinese mythology, Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King, is a trickster god who plays a central role in Wu Cheng'en's adventure novel Journey to the West. Wukong is blessed with unmatched superhuman strength and the ability to transform into 72 different animals and objects. Each of his hairs have transformative powers, and he can magically manipulate wind, water, and fire as well. Did you know they made a film about it? Red, yellow, and blue. The monkey is the ninth of the 12 animals in the recurring 12-year Chinese zodiac cycle. The zodiac animals are in order: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. A monkey year occurs every 12 years. In China, people born in the year of the monkey are called monkeys. Usually, if you were born in the year matching the corresponding 12-year cycle, you're a monkey. Handy hint, monkey years are multiples of 12. Think 12 monkeys. In May 2019, I did a video called CERN is a Stargate. A month after that, I put it on BitChute.
So all this stuff started happening, Mandela effect, whatever, since 2012. And then there's 12 monkeys. So if you look at the 12 monkey symbol, it looks a lot like the Shiva, the destroyer statue in front of CERN. So for Shiva, there's a portal behind him with fire. And then with the monkeys, there's 11 monkeys making a circle, and the 12th it's the dancing deity in the middle. And the monkey's dancing, he's giving us the symbol of as above, so below. And 12 monkeys is about time travel. What are they saying with that? CERN is a reality altering mechanism. It stops time, it changes time, it moves time, it rewrites time. So there seems to be some sorts of confusion that what we've led to believe is the Mayan calendar is actually the Aztec wheel. And the Mayan calendar apparently has all these symbols around it with a person in the center. So the Aztec wheel or calendar, there's a deity in the center with their tongue stuck out. And that reminded me a lot of the Hindu goddess Kali, who destroys everything. I went back and looked at Nautralized, which is Shiva in his destruction form. The deity at the bottom, he's standing on it. And this deity looks a lot like Mayan or Aztec caricatures. And this person's tongue is stuck out. So what that tells me is the CERN time bandits who've stolen time and changed it are crushing this Aztec stroke Mayan wheel or calendar and have taken over. When you look at the 12 monkeys symbol, they show it several times that it's a clock. Each monkey represents an hour, and there's a tick for each of those hours, and then there's the 12th monkey in the middle. They're always about wormholes, rabbit holes, time holes, loopholes, and 8 is a number of infinity which loops back onto itself. And that's why our reality looks a bit different now. They created this and are using some very dark forces. There's sort of a demonic entity in the center. So that tells me that if they've been showing you that behind mirrors there's demons, and in these portals there's demons. It was even in Pan's Labyrinth that she goes through a portal, and the fawn tells her exactly that this princess's father had him open portals all over the world to look for her, and she goes into a portal where there's a horned deity or a fawn, and eventually she dies and her blood falls into the watery portal, looking glass, mirror, whatever.
The film links a virus with time travel using a machine. She's looking into a mirror, that's a portal. Above her is a rose, that's Ishtar's symbol. Then you've got the pearl necklace, which is also on Ishtar. The yellow circle is a chevron necklace connecting to Stargate, because all the chevrons are locked into place. This monkey shines brought me back to Project X, an 80s film. The chimpanzee is next to the clock. Can you see the time? It's 4:22. That's because CERN is 4:22. He has a yellow top connecting to plasma. 12 Monkeys poster, the time is 4 o'clock, and 4 in Chinese is a death number. In this scene, Virgil is pointing up. He's pointing to the birds, so he's a flying monkey. Do you notice the colors? Red, yellow, and blue. Flying monkey, red, yellow, and blue. The same colors. And now to the costume on the right. Minions, red, yellow, and blue. Back to the poster, what are the predominant colors? Blue, red, yellow. Several monkey films use this color code. This one is Speed Racer with a monkey. And look at his hat. Monkey Trouble, yellow, red, and blue. Portals, doorways opening up. NASA to bomb monkeys with gamma radiation. I've explained the link between gamma and the Masons. They want to send the monkeys to space. The god Thoth, pronounced Jehuti or Tehuti, was the ancient Egyptian god of wisdom, medicine, writing, magic, and the moon, and he's with his associate the ape. Lunar gods were almost always shown with the symbol on their heads. Thoth, trickster god and god of thieves, transporter of souls and conductor of spirits. The Egyptian moon god was Thoth, Thot, or Tot. He was known for the following titles: the escort of souls in the afterlife, the transporter of souls, the conductor of spirits from this world to the next. It's even more disturbing to discover that the moon god, also known as the trickster god and god of thieves, he carried a scepter or a staff called a jed pillar or jed column, which was often spoken in terms of flow of electromagnetic energies. Could this be a pillar of the dead or a pillar of the dead? Could this toa be a toa of souls, that is a pole that pulls, or toes souls? Thot is not only the big ibis, he is also the cynocephalus, the baboon, this monkey of which the lengthened snout reminds that of the dog Hedgwer. Hedgwer, the great white, already appears in the text of the pyramids identified to Thot. The monkey likes very much the sun, and in the morning he opens the doors of the Duat. This is the underworld in Egyptian mythology. The monkey's paw is a famous fictional artifact from a horror story of the same name. It is a cursed talisman created from the paw of a dead monkey and has the power to grant its user 3 wishes. However, the wishes come at a terrible cost for interfering with fate and the moral of be careful what you wish for. The monkey's paw will grant a wish, but twist it so that the outcome is horrific rather than rewarding. For example, the user wishes for $200, so the monkey's paw causes his son to die in an accident, giving him $200 in compensation. Jacobs uses foreshadowing to add more suspense to the story of what will happen next and to keep readers on edge. At the beginning of the story, we're introduced to Sergeant Major Morris, who shows the whites the famous monkey's paw. Morris tells the family that it's a talisman that can grant 3 wishes, but at a price. He explains that the monkey paw had a spell put on it by an old fakir, a very holy man. He wanted to show that fate ruled people's lives and that those who tried to change it would be sorry. After Mr. White makes his first wish, he says, "It moved," he cried, with a glance of disgust at the object as it lay on the floor. "And as I wish, it twisted in my hands like a snake." The author compares the monkey paw to a snake to emphasize how dangerous it is, and so readers will know that whatever is about to come won't be good. Snakes are evil, calculating, and traitorous animals. One never knows what to expect from them. At the same time, though, they represent power, and some even say they are magical creatures. A snake is a reptile. What's in this monkey's paws? A reptilian. In Chinese zodiac, monkey is the 9th sign. You mirror 9, you get 6. From first to last, snake is the 6th sign. Monkey is the 9th. Monkey with a snake. The Ouroboros snake biting his tail, under that is a monkey. The eye stargate in the wormhole. They see humans as monkeys. Send the human apes into space. Both space and time exist as circles. Interestingly, the Hebrew language uses the same words for space and time. Send them in time or through a wormhole via CERNs. Why do you think they pushed people to get jabbed? They aren't going to be here for much longer. As they see us as monkeys, what's the human version of monkey paw? Well, that would be the hand of glory. The hand of glory is actually made from a human hand, the left hand of a thief that has been hanged for his or her crimes. Thus, the practice of this technique is more common to places where the law requires the hanging of thieves. Thievery reminds me of the film Congo. They were looking for this rare blue diamond in Congo to power a communications laser. Ephod breastplate, look at number 6. Tribe of Zebulun, diamond. In 2018, King of Thieves, they stole from the jewelry shop. Monkey trouble, he's cute, he's cuddly, he's a klepto. From Greek, kleptos means thief. The stone of Zebulun was diamond. Diamonds follow the trail of the tribe of Zebulun. Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships. Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar in your tents. They will summon peoples to the mountain and there offer sacrifices of righteousness. They will feast on the abundance of the seas, on the treasures hidden in the sand. Of Zebulun he said, they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of treasures hidden in the sand. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be a haven of ships, and his borders shall be unto Zidon. A dictionary definition of the word haven includes the alternate meanings any sheltered, safe place, refuge, and a port or harbor. The tribe of Dan was said to have conquered the Mediterranean islands of Crete and Cyprus. Like many other empires after them, they brought the waymark of the serpent. In Homer's Iliad, the Danaans and tribe of Danae, also referred to as the grandchildren of Baalis, Phoenician Baal. The Danaans were the only tribe of Israel who were known as sailors and a seafaring race, which was unusual for the Israelite tribes. Which means the tribe of Zebulun is giving safe harbor to the tribe of Dan. And the sons of Zebulun, Sered and Elon, Musk, and Jahleel. These are the sub-tribal names of Zebulun. These main names especially Elon or Helon. When the tribe of Zebulun was taken and settled in Assyria, we see their tribal names in many of the ancient maps. Afghanistan anciently in the Assyrian period. In early Scythian times, the name Zebulun was called Zabulistan, which was to the south and southeast of Hara in the Iranian area. Iran is Persia. It's Persian culture. Monkeypox virus is an enveloped double-strand DNA virus. There are two distinct genetic clades of the monkeypox virus, the Central African Congo Basin and the West African clade. The geographical division between the two clades has so far been in Cameroon. Of course it has. The Korean company C&K Mining stated that Cameroon had the largest diamond reserves in the world. Although the Democratic Republic of Congo is Africa's largest diamond producer, it has nothing to do with illness. Monkeypox is a reverse of 33. Diamond is 33. It's code. They've gone to Africa to steal some diamonds. What do you need that for? Diamond mirrors for high-powered lasers. Researchers have built a mirror out of one of the strongest materials on the planet, diamond. By etching nanostructures onto the surface of a thin sheet of diamond, the research team built a highly reflective mirror that withstood, without damage, experiments with a 10 kilowatt Navy laser. In the future, the researchers envisioned these mirrors being used for defense applications, semiconductor manufacturing, industrial manufacturing, and deep space communications. Communications with what? Now, researchers at the Harvard John A. Paulson School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, SEAS, have built a mirror out of one of the strongest materials on the planet, diamond. They experimented with a 10 kilowatt Navy laser because the Navy is military ships. Tribe of Zebulun is a ship. Using this technique, which uses an ion beam to etch the diamond, the researchers sculpted an array of Gulf T-shaped columns on the surface of a 3mm by 3mm diamond. Aha, that's 33. Diamond in gematria is 33. Diamond, meanwhile, has an unmatched thermoconductivity, transmission range, and hardness, and an intrinsically large cross-section for Raman scattering. Not only do you get enhanced power and wavelength range with diamond, you get it with lower pump thresholds using shorter crystals. Diamond has already demonstrated the highest output CW power for Raman crystals by an order of magnitude, as it approaches the highest power of any Raman laser. Ideal laser materials can laser at multiple wavelengths with excellent beam quality and extremely stable power, a combination of characteristics that require durability, transmission through many wavelength ranges, high heat conductivity, low thermal expansion, and efficient conversion of various input powers into desired wavelengths. Diamond, a material first demonstrated as a laser only 5 years ago, happens to have all these characteristics to a far greater extent than other bulk crystals. It is the only known material capable of producing continuous wave, Q-switch, ultra-fast lasing ranging from the deep ultraviolet to the mid-infrared. Diamond is the material that has the potential to bring Raman lasing into the commercial realm. Raman laser, I note the colors. Rama or Raman is an incarnation of Vishnu. The story Ramayana is about him. In modern microscope imaging techniques, lasers are used as light sources because they can deliver fast pulse and extremely high intensity radiation to a target, allowing for rapid image acquisition. What is Project Bluebeam? It involves two things: a technologically simulated second coming and the reemergence of new Montauk-type projects that have the ability to take up a whole bunch of people, as in a rapture type of situation, and whisk the whole bunch into Never Never Land. Ironically, portions of the holographic projections have the potential for changing the planet into oneness with God. Unfortunately, this operates on the premise that man shall somehow become God in human form and control other men and dictate all actions and thoughts. Holography is based on very nearly identical signals combining to produce an image or hologram with depth perception. This is equally applicable to acoustic waves as it is to optical phenomena. Specifically, the show will consist of laser projections of multiple holographic images to different parts of the planet, each receiving different images according to the predominating regional religious faith. Not a single area will be excluded, with computer animation and the sound effects appearing to come from the depth of space. Astonished followers of the various creeds will witness their own returned Messiah in spectacularly convincing lifelike realness. Which means that this technology can also lift people into a metaverse or whatever this creation is, which is why they wanted people to get jabbed. I don't know if it's going to be like a rapture, but I have the feeling that all the jabbed people are going to go to that metaverse. They're not going to be here anymore. The third orientation is a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces. The waves, frequency, used at that time will allow supernatural forces to travel through fiber optics cable, coaxial cable, and electric and telephone lines in order to penetrate all electronic equipment and appliances that will by then all have a special microchip installed. The goal of this step deals with the materialization of satanic ghosts, specters, and poltergeists all across the globe. This is what I've said so many times: this internet stuff is not good. These frequencies, they're not good. Now, I found this planetary alchemical piece. Can you see what's happening in the center? It's a monkey with a compass and a globe. He's chained by Venus, or Stella Mara, and she is chained to Yahweh. That cloud with the hidden hand and the name Yod-He Vav-He. I was told in comments that the planets are going to line up on 24th June 2022. This possibly indicates a portal opening or the sky opening to reveal something, although they may obscure it with clouds so we can't see it. This event happened 18 years ago. The 1 and 8 connects to Inanna/Ishtar/Venus. And someone else mentioned 3 days of something, maybe 3 days of darkness. That's possible. I just got a sign that they will cut the electricity in my area, so I've been preparing for that. Okay, this video has gone on long enough, so I'll leave it here. Be sure to have your notebook to write these things down in, because it makes it easier to see the signs and what they're doing.
Remember, the presidential primaries are only a few months away.
Hey, if you don't like it, go to Russia. If you don't like it, go to Russia. Yeah, what is this thing?
It is a monkey's paw dating back to Alal bin Abdallah. It has the power to grant wishes to its owner.
Oh, yeah? How much?
Sir, I must strongly advise you do not purchase this. Behind every wish lurks grave misfortune. I myself was once president of Algeria.
Come on, pal, I don't want to hear your life story. Paw me!
I wish for world peace.
See, son, that was very selfish of you. Foolish humans.
Oh, yes, Kodos. Earth is now ripe for the plucking.
Move along, humans.
This is all the Simpsons' fault.
Before I was just bored with their antics and their merchandise. Now I wish they were dead.
Geez, now we're slaves. This boss sucks.